We're talking sauerkraut, and I want you to stay till the end because I did try it. It's day 5, and I tried it today, and I want you to know how it came out.
All you need is a clean container, salt, and cabbage. You see, I added garlic, ginger, and a carrot. You're going to slice this if you like thin slices or thick slices accordingly. I like them thin and I like them shorter. I like it to be a nice slender piece. You're going to take the carrots and just take slices. Do the ginger the same way. And then you're going to chop it and mince it.
Howdy friends, today I am doing an experiment for myself. I love sauerkraut, and I decided after going to the grocery store and seeing a small bag was $5, I decided I can make this. I love to cook, it can't be all that hard, and you are going to be amazed at how easy it really is. What we're starting with here
adds a cabbage, a carrot, ginger, and garlic.
You can use Napa, you can use whatever cabbage you want. You can make thick slices or thin slices. I prefer it thin, and then I don't like them left really long either. I kind of like a nice mouth bite. But in this recipe, I decided to add 2 carrots to 2 heads of the cabbage, and I have ginger and garlic here chopped up. You really don't need much to give it a lot of flavor. Now, all you really need to do, which is crazy, is add salt. So to this, I'm only going to use a 1/4 cup of salt. I don't want to oversalt my cabbage or my sauerkraut, but that is what the magic ingredient is. I'm going to use kosher salt. I eyeball a lot of things and I don't really use recipes. So again, this is going to be an experiment and hopefully a good one. We're hoping. The main thing you want to do when you get this in here is to massage it in. So you get to see me doing a little massage work, not on people this time, but on food. So I'm going to lean this in so you can see it. But I'm doing the salt all over, spread it out, and here we go, mixing it in. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, and I almost feel the liquid coming out, but I am going to wait till it wilts and starts absorbing it. It'll be easier to massage in. I can really smell that ginger. Gosh, it smells so good. Ginger is one of my favorite spices, but I use it sparingly because it really makes you very warm. It's a warming herb. Is it an herb or a spice? Tell me in the comments down below. I'll be moving this aside and waiting till I see some moisture down below. Ooh, there's a little bit of salt. I want to make sure I get all that in and not stuck to the sides of my bowl. All right, I'm going to let it sit for 5-10 minutes and I'll be back. So I am back. Here's my nice clean jar that we're going to use soon. But you can see it's starting to give off fluid. I'm hoping you can see. So now it's time to really press that salt in. But I want you to take a piece. Take a thicker piece that might have a harder time absorbing the salt, like this one, okay? Taste it. Excuse me. Take a taste. If it seems a little more salty than you might like, you're gonna add more water when we get to that phase. But for right now, this is what we're going to do with clean hands. You want to take it and squeeze and push that salt into the cell walls. I'm used to massaging people, but this is going to help you develop a bit of a grip strength. Squeeze. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. This is going to reduce in size. We had a lot, and I'm going to show you later how we started, what the bowl looked like, and then after we knead this. If you've ever made sauerkraut before, let me know how it came out in the comments down below. And if you even just like sauerkraut, give me a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm, my channel, to grow. So I thank you ahead of time. The water is really starting to come out of the cells. Here's what it's looking like. Yeah, there's probably about a half a cup of water down here. It looks orange because of the carrots. You can leave the carrots out if you're not into carrots. If you don't have the grip strength, you can put this into a gallon bag and then take a rolling pin and you'll roll it. That will help you get all the salt into the cell wall, as well as doing it this way. Already, it's down about a third of what this bowl started out as.
This is before.
A lot of the recipes and other videos that I did watch to learn how to make kraut, they used much smaller containers. This is a gallon, but they only used 1 head of cabbage, and I used 2. But this is shrinking so much, I probably could have used a half gallon. But it's time. What is that? Oh, a droplet of water. It's time to put all of this in the jar. So here we go. To save from messes, I'm just gonna do it right over the bowl. I believe all that extra moisture that came out should go in to our fermenting container. Okay, so now you're pressing it in. Press it down. All of this has to go under the water, otherwise it could mold. And I saved a couple leaves from the outer part of the cabbage because that will help keep things down, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so get everything, all that goodness down below. Also, if you feel like it's a little saltier, you're gonna add more water over the top. I have that nice and patted down. I'm thinking it's not gonna take more than 2 cups, but I could be totally wrong. So take a look. There we go, we put that in. And push everything underneath of the water. And a trick that I've seen in the videos to keep things under the water is putting more cabbage on the top, and that'll hold everything down and below. I feel like there's probably enough, but I'm gonna put just a little bit more. So I have a little more than a half. So like 2.5 cups. You don't want to put this on too tight because the gases will build up. This is going to be letting out a lot of gas. Yikes, that could be dangerous.
Use this method instead. Find a baggie the circumference of your container and fill it with water to weight.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it on loosely and I'm going to put it in a room downstairs that stays cool. You want to ferment between 60 degrees and 75 degrees. Under 60 degrees, the process is going to take a long time. But over 75 degrees, it could go too quickly. I am going to put a tape on here and mark when I started, so I have that as reference. You can let this go for a couple days, 4 or 5. It might start tasting like it's already done, but you can let it go up to 4 weeks. I found some kraut in the back of my refrigerator. As you know, I have a lot of guests here, and many of the people will not throw away their stuff. So I end up with science projects, and I'm sure you know what I mean, in the back of my refrigerator. But I found one of my containers of sauerkraut pushed in the back. It was probably 6 months old, and I tasted it, and it tasted great. And I looked at one of the comments in another video that I watched, and the person had stated that up to a year it was still good in his refrigerator. You can always taste. Fermented foods last a lot longer. So this is headed down into the lower level of my home in a back room that stays pretty cool in the summer, and it's also warmer, obviously, in the winter. But it's right about 64 degrees all the time. So we'll get back in a couple weeks and I'll let you know how this went. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Again, subscribe to this channel, and in the comments below, if you are already subscribed to this channel, let me know what you're digging the best, because I'm thinking I might change directions. I love to cook. I love to help you out, starting your own boarding house, and there are a lot of other things I do. So I'm looking to find out which niche I should go with. Help me out by telling me in the comments below. Again, I thank you. Make it a great day. Ciao. Look at me, I got all cocky and thought, it's 2 ingredients. How could I possibly not be able to do this? Well, I was shot down. Where I think I really went wrong was that extra 2 cups of water, I needed to brine that, and I didn't realize it because one of the recipes didn't do that. So don't do that. I decided to give it a shot. Being day 5, some people say day 5 you can start eating it. Well, I took the lid off and it had an odd smell. So I decided to go ahead and taste a little bit of it. Didn't like the flavor, it was a bit funky. So I pitched it all. Now, the only thing that I did different, the way I took that topping of the outer leaves off, and I put a weighted baggie covering the whole thing to keep everything down in that brine. The other thing I did was decided to cut it back. Instead of doing 2 heads of cabbage and being ambitious about it, I went ahead and just used 1 huge clove of garlic and a smaller nodule of the ginger. I did use the aromatics again. I like that idea. Really mash that whole mix with the salt that you're putting in, and I'll have a recipe down below, just in case. When you mash all that down, you take that brine, and that's what you're gonna have it sit in. But if there's not enough, every half cup, you're gonna use a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of salt. And don't use iodized salt. That could stop the fermentation process.